Melanie, it's uh it's Dr. Darla. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Darla. Hi.
Hi. How are you been doing?
Um, I mean, I hate being negative. I'm normally, yeah, I used to be positive all the time, but I mean, not the best.
Okay. I'd like to switch it up if we can and do belief code. That's what is, testing what's gonna be best for you. Um and we're already taking time because we kind of get into our unusual discussions and things. So I think, I've got enough time to kind of get that, um, get that done for you if you're okay with that.
Okay.
Um, and I think belief code is what we had done, like your very first session.
Uh-huh.
Um, and we'll just kind of see what comes up if you're good with that. Um,
Okay.
I mean, we did, kind of clear your heart wall, which, I think is going to be helpful, even though we're kind of still finding fragments of that. My guess is that has just been things that once upon a time used to make up your heart wall, but they've been kind of shoved aside or, replaced by more recent kind of things. So it's not like it's blocking your heart entirely. Um, so, I think belief code will help clear out that mental chatter of just, you know, um, you know, and we'll see what comes up and all of that if you're good with that.
Okay.
Um, okay, so let's get started. In usual fashion, I'm going to start with a prayer. So,
Okay.
Heavenly Father, Lord, we ask that you would just guide our work and find all of the beliefs that are impeding Melanie's progress, and just give her a fresh touch and a new plan and purpose, and just help her let go of the negative rut she's found herself in. Lord, you know what's best and you know what she needs. So just be with her and strengthen her and let her feel your presence. And we ask for these things in our our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Um, okay. So is belief code still the best? Yes. Okay. Are we still doing a basic? Okay. And the basic belief system is the most common. It's just kind of the simple tree structure. So I'm just gonna, well, first, let me share my screen in case you ever want to go back and rewatch the video. Okay. So I'm just going to test out how many kind of things of the components, so it'll just give us a framework. Okay, are there more than three negative programs? There is four. Are there three limiting beliefs? Two. Okay. Is there a faulty core identity? Just one. Um, is there any faulty core identity? No. Okay. So there is none. Okay, so yeah, this is a pretty basic, just simple structure. How many associated imbalances? Are there more than six? Are there six? Okay, so take one of those. Okay, I'm just going to start out testing out what the first negative programs are. And negative programs are generally things that are pretty conscious. So when the statement comes up, usually they're kind of more to the forefront. It's the kind of things that you'll hear yourself saying or that you think often. Um, and then as we get further down the belief structure, they kind of become more subconscious and semi-conscious. And, um, usually the faulty core belief and definitely the faulty core identity, which you don't have one in this case, but those things are usually very immature, and they were developed like really early on in childhood. And so you'll see them kind of get a little more immature in their kind of, I guess, thought process or whatever. But they're generally, kind of what gum up the works the most. And, since a lot of times they're very subconscious, like you don't even, kind of know what all they're leading to. So, all right, let's just get started with finding our first negative program. And you have 4 negative programs, so we're going to find those. So the first one on the left, the right one. Okay, we're something in power. Left, right. Okay, something off the screen. Now is it left? Is it right? Okay. Ugh. Sometimes when my menu, I have something like down below the scroll, it just won't even tell me until I get it in my view. It's kind of annoying.
Okay.
Okay, so is that one going to be in section 1, 2, 3, 4? Okay, and are we counting from the top, from the bottom? Is it 8, 7, 6? Is it this exact statement? I don't have the power to choose anything different. That sounds very much like where you're at. Okay, power. This is strength. This is solar plexus. Um, so this is tied to the solar plexus, all of the power things. And it just really more gives a framework for like how the statements are, um, just to divide them up in the testing structure. Okay,
Okay.
so, and again, it was, I don't have the power to choose anything different. Okay, so we're gonna find the next. So basically in belief code, we decode everything. So I'll find everything and then when we actually start the clearing process, I start by clearing the associated imbalances first, and then we go back to like removing the belief structure. So that's kind of just the process. Okay. So the second negative program is on the left, the right, 1, 2. This time we're in passion, left, right, 1, 2. We're in scarcity. Okay. City. Okay. And this is the sacral chakra. Okay. Let's find out what this stinking thinking is. Okay. Is it first, second, third? Okay, from the top. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. The statement is I'll never be as good as blank. Um, I assume this is dad. Is this dad? 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 It is dad. Um, and I just kind of instinctively knew that because, how you know, well, first of all, you're still very, very hung up on just missing him and losing him and all of that. But I mean, there's always this air of, I expected to be more like him and more, so like there's this sense that, you very much idolize and I mean, maybe idolize is not the right, um, but you just have a lot of respect. And I could see that like leaning over into comparing where you're at to where he was, and all of the things that he accomplished. Because clearly he really, you know, um, he accomplished an awful lot. Um,
Mhm.
you know, whether he, I get the sense from some of the stuff you've said that, he didn't necessarily always see that, or perhaps it didn't even manifest itself in the way it should have, like through, you know, um, that financial payoff of like, how much effort he put into things and, that kind of thing. But okay,
Uh-huh.
the next one's left, right, one. Okay, we're again in power. Left, right, 1, 2, 3. This time, growth. I think power growth is like probably the number one topic. That and the issue of time. It just seems everybody's got that. 1, 2, 3. So let's find out what the statement is. Top, first, second. Is it this exact? Okay, this is a very common one. It's, I don't want to grow up.
Him or me?
Um, I mean, I would assume that's you. Um, okay, we're in power again. Left, right, one. This time in change. Change is another one that, people just don't like.
Yeah.
Very common. Okay, let's find out what the statement is. So the first, the second. Okay. Is it from the top? Is it the first, second, third? Is it this exact one? I can't go with the flow. This exact statement. Okay. Or really, it's more frequency. Um, all right. So we're on to limited beliefs. Okay. Is it left, right, one? Again, we're in power. Left, right, 1, 2. This time we're in effort. Effort. See what we got here. Okay, section 1, 2, 3. Okay, in the top, it's the first, second. Okay, it's pointless to try. This is
Yep.
also a fairly common one. This came up in my very last session, I believe code with someone. Okay, definitely common kind of themes here. Left, right, one. I think these are the kinds of things that are in most people's stories. Left, right, 1, 2, 3. Again, we're in power, growth.
Uh-huh.
See what this one is. Section 1, 2, 3. On the top, it's the first, second, third, fourth. Is it this exact? Yes. Is it this exact statement? Okay. It's coming up as yes. I kind of figured this would need a little tweaking, but it's, I never improve. So I just making sure it was, I never improve rather than things never improve or, something similar.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Faulty core belief. Is it on the left, the right? One, two. We're in passion now. Is it the left? Is it first, second, third? Okay. This time we're in sexuality. It's section from the top, from the bottom, section 5. 4. Is it from the top? Is it 10, 9, 8, 7, 6? Is it this exact? So this needs to be tweaked. Um, the statement is I need to reduce sex to a technical level. Um, so I'm not even sure what exactly that means. See, I need to reduce sex to a technical level. Um, Something about the mechanic. Um, is it the first half of the statement, second half? Something similar. How many words? Is there more than 4? 4 words. Um, any ideas? And I mean, this is a faulty core belief. Is there another statement that's going to help me kind of make sense of this? Okay, would that be found? Would that be found? Um, so what were your first thoughts that you can remember about you and sexuality, like as a child? Because I feel like if I, because I'm just like at a loss for like what to even um and again, the
Well,
statement that came up is I need to reduce sex to a technical level. And I mean, were you like confused by like sexual education or
well,
um
I know my dad was more intellectual, and my mom made a comment that it was a miracle I was even conceived. And then the second thought is, he hypnotized me to not have periods because him and this other brilliant doctor like kind of wrote a thesis or a book that some women don't need to have them since Adam and Eve, and like they had this belief that it wasn't necessary to have it, and as brilliant as he was, that it's just not something that you should teach to a young girl.
right. Um
It
was
wasn't
that
the right
was that
timing.
like because I know like some of the hypnosis started when you were like super super young. Was that like back then or was like that more as you were coming of age? Do you know?
Well, what I remember, it was more coming of age, but it wasn't like I'm not convinced he did a lot of hypnosis. I just remember mostly him telling me about it and teaching me and or making comments about it.
Oh, maybe sex was reduced to sex. Sex was reduced to the technical or something like that. Let me just kind of write that down as I'm maybe sex was made technical, technical, something like that. This was made technical, something like that. Um, is reduce the right word? Okay, so sex was reduced to something technical. Is that good enough? Okay, sex was reduced to something technical. Does that sound right?
I don't.
Um, because I
I've
mean, as
never been.
right, because when you were talking about your dad, like was you know, so maybe like when they were educating you about sex as it became very is scientific a better word? Okay. Is it sex was made scientific? Okay. Is reduced better? No. So, okay. Made hot scientifically. Okay. Became taught, reduced. Sex was reduced to science. Okay. Is that the closest? Is that close enough? Yeah. Okay. And I'm just gonna leave the original statement in here. Just turn this. Okay. Sorry, most of this has all been pretty straightforward. And then I got to something that's like, I didn't even know what this means, much less what this. Okay. So sex was reduced to science. Okay. All right. Um, okay. Now for this associated imbalances, I need to go over to the body code side of things. Okay. So as the first associated imbalance, is it on the left, the right, 1, 2? We have some kind of misalignment, left, right, 1, 2, 3. Misalignment to a meridian. Is it main, extraordinary? Okay, left, right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have a misalignment to the penetrating meridian. Okay. Okay, so kind of the associations to the penetrating meridian will include things like the circulation, the heart, kidneys, and stomach. But then symptoms of the imbalance include things like female reproductive issues, nausea, GI problems, multi musculoskeletal issues, spiritual um, issues, and depression and anxiety. So a lot of the stuff you're kind of going through for sure. Um, and that'll, I'll have some good notes on that in your report. Okay, so is the second associated? Is it left, the right one? Okay, it's the left, right. We are in
Did you say acid? Did you say acid reflux?
um yeah, I mean it could cause acid reflux. It's just general GI. I mean, it could cause pretty much any kind of GI issue. So even like some of the stuff with your pancreas and stuff like that, um, that's part of your digestive system. So, um,
Yeah, I'm having
okay.
massive, massive acid reflux this week, but it's my fault. But I mean, I created it, but I am having it massively this week in particular.
Okay, the second thing that came up is an energy of fungus. Left, right, one, two. We have another misalignment. So going to be the third thing. Left, right, one. This time we have something misaligned in the skeletal system. Left, right, left, right, one, two. Have the thoracic cage. Left, right, one, two. The manubrium. Oh, this comes up frequently, and I swear I think this is from this is gonna sound crazy, but do you vibrate at night or like in the middle of the night, in the morning when you wake up? I swear it's them running the harps or something.
You mean vibrate internally or externally?
Yeah, I mean it feels like um it almost like how like if you get heart palpitations, right? Except it's usually like right where your thymus is. It's like kind of right down below your xiphoid process, which is that little notch in your neck. And it just kind of like vibrates, and sometimes you might can even see it, but it just feels like, I mean, I don't, it's hard to even just, it just vibrates. And I think um this becomes misaligned because of that.
Uh-huh.
Thoracic cage. Let's figure out what the next thing is. Left, right, one, left, right. Got another energy of a pathogen. Left, right. This time a parasite. Do we need to know what type or anything else? No. Internal, external. So this is just the energy of an external parasite. So like flea, tick, lice, the scabies, what else? Like anything that, chiggers, whatever. right. Again, we have a parasite or pathogen left, right. Left, right, 1, 2, 3. This time we got energy of bacteria. Is there anything else I need to know? Okay. It's not common that we need to drill down further, um, just because it's associated with with this belief structure. So that's why if we were doing just like regular body code, usually you got to drill into it a lot further. But Melanie, you're still with me?
What was
Hi,
that?
sorry. Um, okay. I guess I don't know. I was getting another call in, so I don't know if I lost you there. Sometimes it goes
Oh,
in limbo, sometimes it doesn't. I can't ever figure it out. um,
right.
okay. So that one was energy of bacteria, and I didn't need to learn anything further. Um, okay. Now the last associated imbalance is to the left, the right, 1, 2. Have another misalignment, left, right, 1, 2, 3. Another meridian misalignment, left. This time it's going to be a main meridian, left, right, 1, 2, 3. It's the pericardium meridian. So this one I've always learned, and I personally call it the circulation sex meridian. Um, it's also known as the pericardium or the heart protector. Um, so meridian. So this one too will let's see. Um, circulatory problems, chest and heart discomfort, palpitations, mania, um, spasms of the elbow and arm. And that's just because of, where it runs. Um, sadness and phobias, imbalance um, of sexual feelings and intimacy, um, and overjoy. That's how the Chinese call it, but it's really just like shocks to the system. So a lot of times, like this would be kind of your star of Bethlehem, from a flower perspective. Um, okay, is there anything else I need to know about any of that? Okay, are we ready to start pulling this stuff off? Okay, so let's start with and again, we start with clearing the associated imbalances, and then we'll go to the belief structure. So we're going to start with realigning that penetrating meridian. Let's get it realigned both horizontally and vertically. Now let's bring some healing energy through it. Now let's clear out that energy of fungus that's associated with the structure. Just get rid of that. Okay. Let's realign the thoracic cage at that manubrium. So again, that's like the little kind of space, um, like kind of what attaches to your collarbone, or how that like attaches to your kind of shoulder blade right there. And when I send you the report, I'll include like the picture to it. So let's get that all nice and straight, that manubrium vertically, horizontally. Okay. Now let's clear out that energy of that external parasite, whatever that was. Okay. Let's clear out that energy of bacteria. Okay. Let's realign the pericardium meridian. Line it vertically, horizontally. Let's bring some healing energy through it. Boost that energy. All those associated imbalances cleared. Yes. Okay, nice and strong. Okay, now let's start with the first negative program of I don't have the power to choose anything different. That's got to go. It doesn't serve us. Power to choose anything different. Okay. So that now is testing weak, which just means it's testing as a falsehood rather than a true statement. I'll never be as good as dad. Okay. Next, we're clearing I'll never be as good as dad. Let that go. Be as good as dad. Okay. Next, let's get rid of that. I don't want to grow up. To grow up. Let that go. Huh. I can't go with the flow. Can't go with the flow. So just as we go through, like the negative programs are usually, I mean, they're going to be kind of fed um and the fruit of those limited beliefs, which are kind of the growth from that faulty core belief. So you can think of it as I think this way because of that lower thing. So, it's kind of like if you think of it like a tree, that faulty core belief is going to be kind of your trunk. And then, the branches will be those limited beliefs, which grew out of that faulty core belief. And then all the negative programs are like, the leaves and the fruit and everything that's coming off of those previous. So you can think of these are why because of you know, these other things. So maybe it's pointless to try because I'll never be as good as dad, or because I don't have the power to choose anything different, or because I don't want to grow up, or whatever, right? So that's kind of how it works. Okay, so let's go on to that limiting belief of it's pointless to try. Kind of let that go. Because if you think it's pointless to try, you're never going to, right? You're just gonna just gonna lay on the couch or just go to sleep or just, you know, read a book.
Well, I think it comes from trying a million times and nothing happens. I think that's
Well, ah, um, yes, I mean,
I mean, that's what's happened with me. That's why I have finally given up. To be honest, I tried for decades to
right.
heal myself and my family and my parents and everybody and my husband's parents. And I mean, I never ever saw anything. Never saw zero results. In fact, the opposite. I saw the opposite. So yeah, you come to a point where you're done.
I never improve. Well, I mean, in this case, you can have like the limiting belief of it's pointless to try because I never improve, right? Which is the the other limiting belief. And then, the more that becomes concrete and you see the fruit of that because, oh, wait, I've tried everything and nothing has ever worked. Um, but it's entirely possible that that thinking is what keeps you stuck in the things not working. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, ultimately, you want you to be right. It's very important to ourselves for us to be right, right? So when you have
All right.
that as a subconscious like thing, and in your case, I think these statements are very, I mean, even these limited beliefs are very conscious for you, right? I mean, you can totally see yourself thinking this way and saying these things. Um, and then, your reality, the things that you've seen because you have tried everything and nothing's worked, like it then feeds that, see, I'm right. I can't ever improve. Nothing ever happens and all of that. And it just keeps perpetuating.
I
So,
can't. I cannot stop absorbing my parents and their pain, and but specifically my father. I cannot. That's all I picture right now talking to you. I can't stop
try.
absorbing him as a little girl. And like, no, I'm gonna carry him. I'm gonna make this right. I'm gonna heal everybody. I'm gonna heal him. And I mean, I did not heal him. He died. So I don't even know what to say about that. It was like my life's mission to absorb him and absorb his pain and heal him and carry him. And that's what I'm feeling right now.
Well, he's not in pain right now. You do recognize that, right? You're
No, I
you're
read.
you're the one that's in the pain now. I mean, he was a Christian, right?
The pastor.
So, and you're a Christian, right? You believe that your dad is with Jesus right now, correct?
Yeah, I think he's with this.
Well, there you
With
go.
this.
Your dad is not in pain. Now, I mean, I feel like your dad probably was in pain when he was still here. And, he was pouring into these things that just, maybe didn't manifest fully and didn't ever express themselves fully, or he didn't get the recognition or the, whatever he was trying to go through, some of the guilt and pain of just not feeling like he could support you. And clearly your mom and her family was, kind of like, whether that was because of them or they just kind of stirred up that pot or whatever, um, I imagine that was very difficult for him. Um, but all of that for him has gone away. but you're the one that you're continuing to carry that forward. And just, and maybe that's what you need to just meditate on, is that your dad is in a better place. Your dad is at peace and surrounded by love, and a love that he probably never got on planet Earth, right? And your dad would not want you to be carrying his former pain with you. Okay, so we got one more faulty core
But he
belief.
was so much. He was so much like you. This is very hard. Genius like you are, and multi-chord essences. I mean, he would have not stopped talking about your formulas. Like he would have talked about it for like forever. He was always discovering new people and new. I mean, he was supposed to guide me, and now I have nobody to guide me.
But that's not true. You just, because you recognize my dad would have loved this, and my dad, y'all would have had these great conversations and everything else. He is still guiding you. Can you not see that? I mean,
No,
would we probably wouldn't even be together then, right? If it weren't for the knowledge that my dad would so love this. He would so be all about it. He'd be leaning in, and we'd be having all these interesting conversations. So he's still, the things that he taught you and he instilled is still guiding you.
well, I need something physical again.
I know, but you know, that's still, coming from the place of grief, and you just miss him. And, you know, maybe you just need to lean in a little more to, what would your dad want you to be doing with your life? And
If he
if that's very much still in alignment with what you want and what you are all about, you know, is there a way to honor him that way and lean into something, um, you know, you know, just just a thought.
would want me to have restoration.
Okay. So do we defragment? No, we need a positive statement. Okay. So let's see. I mean, I feel like it's got to be something to do with choice. Um, Maybe I can choose a new path, but it's got to be, um, Needs to definitely be something empowering. Maybe I can choose a new path and find my own success.
Yeah, I like that.
Does that feel authentic? Is there
Uh-huh.
anything else that you would, because I do feel like there's this comparison. Um, I feel like there's this aspect where you feel like you're like letting your dad down, or there was this, like, you somehow missed the boat, you somehow missed your calling, or you know um and I feel like that's part of what's keeping you stuck. So okay, I think that's good, because I mean it's giving you autonomy, and it's empowering.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's do that. I can choose a new path and find my own success. I can choose a new path and find my own success. Okay, so how do you feel?
How do I feel?
Yeah, how do you feel?
Oh, I'm the same. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I feel okay.
Um, I mean, it's a process and it takes a little time. Um, the thing with belief code, it's usually pretty good at kind of calming down the mental chatter, which, I suspect you have a lot of that because it's part of what's driving the depression, driving um, the anxiety, right? All that thinking. Um, usually depression is when you're looking back, and anxiety is when you're looking forward. Um,
Right,
but everything we're doing happens right here in the here and now, right? All creation happens now, like not in any other moment. So, um, and that's why, I like meditation or anything that just pulls you into the present moment. Um, and when you are having those, either, waffling back and forth between depression and anxiety, um, just start taking a mental inventory of where your mind is going, and you'll find that when you're depressed and when you're really sad, it's because you're looking back in the past, all the regrets, and like, well, my life was supposed to be these things, but here's where I'm at, and it's just, you know hasn't happened for me. And all of the anxiety is almost always like you're just anticipating some future worry or drama, or what's going to happen then. And of course you can't control any of that because it's in your future. All you can, you know is just get rooted back into what's happening right here right now. And if you find yourself just, where you're mentally traveling, right, in the past or future, just try your best to get in the present moment, even if you just have to, like, just start mentally saying a mantra of, like, right now I'm okay. Right now I'm okay. And, just recognizing that, and asking yourself, well, is there something, I can do in the moment that will make my future self thank me for? Um, and that's a good exercise to just kind of take back what little control we kind of have. Um, you know, because it's like the small decisions we make every day that kind of, what our future looks like. Like right now, my office is a hot mess. So the only way it's not going to look like this tomorrow is if I take some, steps like today, right now, to put some things away. Um, so that's kind of my best advice on that. Um, and just, you know, trying to consciously take back control of the way you're thinking. Um, and, the belief code will help to kind of dispatch some of that, like just mental chatter of all this stuff. It's pointless to try. Why even bother? Because obviously that's a way of thinking that's really going to do nothing but make you want to go back to bed, right? I mean, just why do I even get up in the morning? Like, it's very depressive way of thinking. And, you know, so,
Right. Okay.
all
Thank
right.
you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'll be heading out to go train the doggy, beat some sense into him. So,
What's the
what's that?
what's the breed? What's
He's
the
a
breed?
he's a Morkie, so he's a Maltese Yorkie mix. And he's definitely got like the jumpy of, you know, um, of the Maltese for sure. I'm trying to think if he really has any, he's pretty, I mean, he's pretty laid back other than he absolutely hates us messing with his ears. He's got an ear infection and he's dealing with some allergies and things. I need to do a correction on him for grass, I think. Um, I just haven't done it yet, but otherwise, I mean, he loves to travel. He's like great in the car. He's super social, which is like so count. We had a Yorkie poodle mix, and she was pretty antisocial and like high strung, and could not stand the car. I mean, oh my gosh, the car was like trauma for her. So whereas our Morkie, Mr. Bentley just wants to go everywhere. Darren took him to the car show, and like everybody's just like loving on him.
His
So
name's Bentley.
yeah, his name is Bentley.
Just
Cause
watch the Bentley this week. You'll
yeah,
have to tell my you'll have to tell my husband your dog stuff because
yeah,
that's
yeah,
our family business.
yeah.
It's
We
mostly him doing
we
it.
we had that conversation every like and your husband's
Yeah,
not ridiculously chatty, and I mean, it's not him and I are not like how you and I are. I mean, not that we're not friendly and whatever. You know, I've grown to appreciate your husband. Um, you know,
but he loves the dog talk, so
yeah,
it's nice to hear.
yeah. So okay, well, so just expect the report and your video probably tomorrow. I might be able to get that in between the dog thing and um, Matthew's appointment later, but um, so maybe it'll be tonight, maybe it'll be tomorrow morning. Okay,
No problem.
and we
I
will
understand.
we
Thank
will
you for
connect.
everything.
Sure, we'll connect this time next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.